And we welcome you on out here to a bit of high school basketball action. We are in the quarterfinals between Judge Memorial and Carbon High School. We're looking at the starting lineups here. Just releasing the starting lineups. A little bit behind here.
The starters for the designated home team, the Judge Memorial Catholic Bulldogs. Starting for Judge, a senior, 5'7", number 3, Maria Collins.
You need me talking right now?
A 6'1" senior, number 5, Amy Wow McCall. A 5'5" senior, number 21, Maya Renteria. A 5'6" junior, number 23, Chloe Kyle.
So we've got Matt. Remind me your last name.
Matt Harris.
Matt Harris. So Matt Harris is helping us out tonight for the Spectrum pregame. Spectrum pregame show. The last game went a little late, so we're a little slow to get on, but we've got an exciting quarterfinal matchup between Judge and Carbon. And they just announced the starting lineups. So, Matt, why don't we real quick give the viewers a taste of what this Judge and Carbon matchup will look like?
Well, we got a classic here matchup of the top seed in the state in Judge Memorial. Judge Memorial has won 25 straight games going back to last season, and they look exactly like it. You're looking at Taya Sidbury, who's just tipping it off there as Carbon wins the tip-off. Looks like Maya Timothy has the ball, and she's going to bring it out. All right. That's an air ball on the 3 from Sydney Orth to start. Sidbury's going to bring it up. Collins at the top of the key. Out to Sidbury for 3. And it's going to get a friendly roll. So Judd Memorial takes a 3-0 lead to start. And Carbon will be on its way back.
Sidbury, the leading scorer in the state for the second straight year, 34 points a night, which is just outrageous.
Yeah, she wears number 32. Reminds me of Jimmer Fredette in a lot of ways beyond just the number. Looks like we got a foul underneath the basket. So it'll be an inbound for Carbon. Inbound out to the perimeter.
Carbon comes out of Region 12, a really tough Region 12.
And it looks like we got a foul. Madison Orth draws the foul. And it's still on the ground, so it'll be another inbound for Carbon.
The Dinos, a very sound defensive team, but they can get into problems with scoring drought. So if they want to have some success tonight against this top-ranked Judge team, they're going to have to score.
Jump shot up by Timothy. It's going to be airballed. So Judge Memorial heading back the other way. And it's stolen. Stolen. Orth has it, going back the other way. And another turnover as Judge Memorial heads back. Layup by Marika Collins is in. Collins is the second leading scorer on this team at just over 12 points per game. So it's a 5-0 lead for Judge Memorial. Carbon trying to navigate their way out of a bit of a trap defense there. It looks like it's going to be a jump ball, and it is in Judgment Memorial's favor. So it'll be heading back the other way. 5-0 Judgment Memorial, and they are in possession once again.
And we're kind of seeing it already here with Carbon, almost 2 minutes into this game, and haven't scored yet.
Pass out to on the perimeter, and it's in the hands of Collins. Collins dribbled in, lost the ball a little bit, and Carbon's going to have it. It's a full court press by Judge Memorial. They're trying to break it, and it looks like there's a foul on the floor. So Carbon will be able to inbound. To Carbon's credit, at least you're drawing the fouls against a team like this. That will help you in the long run. But you want to at least get some points on the board.
Yeah, that really has been a problem for the Dinos. The games that they've scored and shot the ball at a high percentage, they do well.
A nice cut pass into the post as Orth tried to get it up, but it looks like she was blocked on the attempt. That is a foul. It's going to send her to the line. So we've got Orth at the line to try and get the first points on the board for the Lady Dinos. Yeah, it's going to be a miss on the first one for Orth.
Carbon starting 2 sophomores, and Maddie Orth who's shooting, and Amaya Timothy. The rest are all seniors.
Orth getting ready for the second shot. It's up. And it's good to get Carbon on the board for the first time. Judgment Memorial leads 5-1. Carbon's going to start entering a full court press to try and put the pressure on. It works a little bit, but Judge still has the ball. And it's a layup, and it's over the backboard and out of bounds under the basket, and Carbon ball.
A good hustle by Carbon there. And we talked about it a little bit. We didn't get quite the full amount of our Spectrum pregame show, but this is a very good defensive team. They'll definitely force Judge to make good passes and decisions.
Right down the rack by Amaya Timothy for an easy layup. She's going to get the Dinos up within a possession here. Judge outside the perimeter. Ball goes into Sidbury's hands. She puts the layup up. It's airballed right into the hands of Carbon. Carbon's coming back the other way. Carbon out on the corner, going below, and it's a block by Sidbury. This girl does know how to do it all on the court.
Yeah, she's a pretty amazing athlete. Even as a freshman, you could see that she has a lot of ability. And now her senior year, you can see kind of come complete around.
Sidbury is committed to the University of Utah to play college ball as Judge Memorial comes away with the steal and is head back the other way. Sidbury goes inside for a layup, trying to draw the foul, and she gets it as a blocking foul. So that'll send her to the line for 2 shots. This will give Judge Memorial the opportunity to go up to 5 points here. Up to 4 points, excuse me. And she'll get the first one, so it's 6-3 Judge. Sidbury, it almost seems weird a little bit to a degree that we've been watching a game for 3 minutes and Sidbury is just now getting her first points of the game.
Yeah, that's especially with a player of her caliber.
If Carbon can hold Sidbury below, I would say about 25 to 30 points, that would be a successful game against a player of her caliber. Carbon does get another basket in. That's going to put it at 7-5 in Judge's favor. Judge is heading back to face a half-court defense set. Looks like it's a 2-3 zone. They're breaking through it. Sidbury is down the middle, and it gets knocked out of her possession, stays with Judge.
Well, right now, this is a Carbon game as far as if it's low scoring, it's going to keep the Dinos in it. If they can keep Judge to a low 40s, they have a chance in this one. But if they get up to the 50s, it's going to be tough for Carbon to keep up.
Collins was looking for a good opportunity at a layup there. Didn't quite get there. Lost the ball. It is still in Judge's hands. They're going to inbound below the basket here. Pass out to the perimeter. Collins for 3, and it's missed. Rebound Judge Memorial, but it goes into Carbon's hands. Fast break, 2-on-1 opportunity. Orth for the basket and doesn't quite get it, but it is a foul. Orth will head to the basket for another pair of 2.
It's actually Timothy, and she just plays with her hair on fire. Again, she's just a sophomore, but that's one of her best traits is when she gets the ball in her hands, she's really fast and quick, and she can beat the opposing team down the court.
I'll start saying sorry to all the viewers down in Carbon County right now. We're going to make sure we get these players right for you. Looks like Timothy does get the first basket, so it's 7-6. And she's going to get the second basket. It rolls quite in. We got a tie game here at 7. Carbon is keeping up very well with these Bulldogs. Judge Memorial heading back the other way. It's in Collins' hands. Tries to get pushed back court. Goes into Sidbury. Sidbury on the perimeter. Pass out to the corner for 3. Not going to make it. And there's a bit of a tussle for possession. It's going to go Carbon's way.
Wow, I'm surprised. I thought this went off Molly Banks. And it looks like on the replay it went off her knee. So a break for Carbon there.
Carbon heading back the other way here. Ball goes out to Timothy on the perimeter, and it's stolen. Judge Memorial heading back the other way. A layup. Nope. It's going to be a layup for Collins. Collins gets it. We do look to have a Carbon player on the ground. That is Jancy Jensen. She gets up. Looks like she's okay. She'll be heading back over to the base. She'll head back over to the bench, and we got Linny Maurer checking in.
And Jancy Jensen, you won't look at her stats and see a ton, but she's one of the senior leaders on this team, a great point guard and a calm hand with the ball. So that's a tough blow for the Dinos if she can't come back.
Timothy handling a lot of the generation of the offense, if you will, as she tries to get a pass and it doesn't quite go. So Judge is heading back the other way. Chloe Pike leads the Bulldogs in assists with 5 per game. She passes out to Collins. Collins on the perimeter, looking for an open opportunity. It's going to go back to Pike. Pike passes out to Sidbury. It's stolen. Carbon headed back the other way. Timothy layup, unprotected and in. We got another tie game, 9-9, courtesy of a fast break layup by Timothy. Judge is looking to respond here. Collins to Sidbury. Sidbury, long 3, and it's short. Rebound Carbon.
I don't even know if her Utah coaches would be happy with how deep that shot was.
Sometimes you act a little bit too much like number 32 there, don't you?
Yep.
Well, it looks like another turnover went into Judge's hands. They ended up with the layup, didn't quite make it. Carbon is playing extremely good defense so far. They're facing a full court press by Judge. 2-on-1. It looks like she couldn't quite break it. Sidbury gets the layup.
Sidbury with almost 6 steals a game, and she just uses her length to her advantage.
3 by Timothy is short. Rebound Judge. Heading back the other way in the hands of Esther Anajok, who makes the layup for her first points of the game. Judge is starting to create a little bit of distance here with a 13-9 lead as we're heading down into the last 2 minutes of the first quarter. Timothy tries to make a pass out to Maurer on the perimeter. It's deflected out of bounds. Mauer's going to go ahead and inbound.
Jancy Jensen's going to come back, give Timothy a breather. Carbon's going to want to slow this game back down. They're not going to be. Judge is too athletic if they let him get out and run.
Jensen looked for a 3, passes out to Maurer, back to Jensen. Getting around the perimeter, looking for an opportunity. Jensen tries to dribble, can't find anyone. It's going to go to Orth. Orth, mid-range jumper, airballed.
Looks like the foul's
and there,
called.
looks like we got a foul.
Not a lot there, but it's a foul call either way.
Orth is going to be heading to the free throw line to try and close the gap a little bit here for the Dinos. Shooting 2. And the first one's going to be a bit short. Going to go for a second one here.
And the foul line is an area where the Dinos excelled in that first playoff game. They went 22 for 28, which is outrageous to beat the Manti Templars and make it into this quarterfinal game.
Orth is going to hit the second of 2, so we got 13-10 in Judge Memorial's favor. Judge goes quick, finds Anajok. I'm going to take a moment to start remembering that name. Anajok under the basket, gets fouled. She'll be heading to the line for 2.
Yeah, it's good hustle, though, by Jancy because it was going to be a wide-open layup. And now you're making Judge earn it at the foul line.
In a slow, low-scoring game, that's exactly what you want to do to keep Judge down.
And it pays off just by missing the first one.
Missed the first of two opportunities here. Anna Jocks take the second shot. Free throw up, and it's good. 14-10 Judge.
That's a unforced
turnover.
error.
Judge Memorial has it, is outnumbering Carbon under the basket, but they still come away with it. Carbon, Jansen trying to get rid of it, finds a teammate, and Carbon's heading back the other way. Orth has the ball, but just took a few too many steps. It's going to be a traveling call against Orth. Judge Memorial's heading back the other way with it. Collins will go ahead and inbound. Sorry, it looks like Sidbury's going to go ahead and inbound here to Collins. Collins looks to be content to run this in a half-court offense. They're still feeling fairly confident against this team. Sidbury's looking for an opportunity for a layup, takes a floater, not quite in, and it's a fight for the rebound, and Carbon's got it. Carbon finds Orth. Orth is going to spin for the basket, doesn't quite make it. Rebound Maurer. Maurer finds Orth again, and that is not Orth. That actually looks to be Haley Garish, who tries to make it, doesn't quite get it. But she is fouled. She'll be heading to the line for two.
And Garish is a player that moved down into Price at the beginning of the year. And she's been working her way in. She's a good big body for the Dinos.
If I'm not mistaken, Carbon is playing the foul game to perfection. They have, in the first quarter alone, put Judge Memorial in the bonus for the rest of this first half. That is a great, great spot for the Dinos to be in.
Yeah, that's huge, especially when you talk about an offense that struggles to generate points. So next time they get fouled, they get to go to the free throw line.
If Carbon ends up shooting another 28 free throws, this is going to look very good for them, regardless of how good Judge's offense is. Looks like Garish gets the second of the two shots. It's 14-12 Judge Memorial. And they're putting him in another full-court press. Jansen trying to put the pressure on Collins. Almost gets the ball out, and it goes into Sidbury's hands. Sidbury taking on the entire defense with a floater, and she makes it. 16-12 Judge Memorial with just under 30 seconds left to go.
That floater is unguardable.
Timothy looking for an opportunity, and it's a turnover. Still trying to put the pressure on. Sidbury's going to bring it up the court. Another long three, and it's short once again. Rebound Jansen. Carbon's going to take it back the other way. She's fighting with a few people for the rebound, and it's a jump ball. So that's going to go ahead and go Carbon's way.
Yeah, that's killer, though, because Carbon has a half a second, and they would have got the ball first in the second quarter. So it's basically a turnover there. You'd almost rather not get the jump ball.
If anybody has practiced their Trevor Booker shot, now is the time to show it. And it's not going to go up. So final score in the first quarter is 16 for Judge Memorial, 12 for Carbon. Not a bad way to end it, if considering the team you're playing tonight.
Not at all. We're going to take a quick break.
So when I came to USC Eastern, I knew how to weld, but I didn't know the theory behind the welding. And if I came across an issue in the field, I didn't know how to troubleshoot it because I didn't know the science behind the metallurgy that was going on. My favorite thing going to school here is probably competing in the U.S. Weld Trials, and I set a goal where I was going to be the United States representative for a World Skills competition. And I didn't stop until it happened, and here we are today. My name's Chandler Vincent, and college started for me at USU Eastern.
Just because you're living on a budget doesn't mean you can't afford quality items at a fair price. 911 Pond is not your typical pawn shop. Our goal is to provide the best quality products at a great value. Come in and see our huge selection of guns and hard-to-find ammo, camping gear, the new furniture showroom, bed frames, and more. We are located at 78 North Carbon Avenue in Price.
Welcome back. We're here watching the game between Judge Memorial, the number one seed in the 3A girls basketball state tournament, and the Carbon Dinos, a very good-looking 8 seed in this game so far. Scoreboard update brought to you by Auto Farm. Judgment Memorial leads at 16-12 in the first quarter, and they'll get the inbound to start the second quarter. Pike's going to inbound to Collins. Collins scanning the defense and is going to pass back to Pike on the perimeter. Back to Collins at the top of the key. Back to Pike once again. Looking for an opportunity. It's going to go back to Collins. Collins going to pass into Anajok. Anajok for the layup, and she is fouled. Misses the shot, but will head to the line for 2 once again. That was the second foul on Carbon's Madison Orth. And it gives Carbon only 3 team fouls so far in this half, as compared to 6 for Judgment Memorial. Anajok misses the first shot. Going to have one more here.
Judge, not a great free throw shooting team, just 60% on the year.
Anajok winding up for the second one. It's up. And it's good to put Judge Memorial up 17-12. Full court press by Judge Memorial, and it works. But Carbon gets it back.
Briefly. It briefly worked. Yeah, turnovers have been a problem for both teams in this one.
Timothy manages to take it up court. Carbon's looking for the layup and can't quite find Garish under the basket. So turnover in favor of Judge. They're going to go ahead and take it on back. Pike passes into Collins. Collins heading up court. Pass to Pike. Pass back to Collins. Collins for 3, and it's short. Every single one of these Pierce Oil three-pointers so far has been just short for Judge Memorial. Typically a very good shooting team from everywhere on the court. And Carbon's going to head on back, and it's passed out to Orth. Orth finds Timothy. Timothy going for the floater, and it's blocked. Sidbury heading back up the court by herself. She's got numbers, and she does not take the shot. Goes out to the corner. Still moving. Passes up to Collins and Pike. Anajok out at the top of the key. Looks like we got a timeout for Judge Memorial.
30-second timeout. Charge to Judge Memorial.
At Auto Farm Price Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, we make it happen for you.
Auto Farm has a huge selection of vehicles to choose from at the guaranteed lowest price. Auto Farm will not be undersold. The best deal on a new or pre-owned vehicle is at Auto Farm. If they don't have what you're looking for, they'll find it for you. Find all the great deals and all their inventory online at PriceChryslerDodgeJeep.com.
At Auto Farm Price Ford, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, we make it happen for you.
Welcome back to Weber State University in this quarterfinal game between the Judge Memorial Bulldogs and the Carbon Dinos. Judge Memorial has possession after they took a timeout. Collins will inbound the ball. It's out to Pike. Pike's up at the top of the key and passes to Anajok. Anajok looking for Sidbury. She finds him. Sidbury trying to find the shot, and it's a hook shot, and it's in. Judge Memorial goes up 19-12. Facing another full court press. Jensen trying to get out of it. Finds Timothy. Timothy out to Garish. Looks like she was just standing on the half court line, causing a backcourt violation.
That's it. I'm pretty sure that's a terrible. I mean, you haven't advanced the ball into the front court, so it shouldn't be backcourt if she's straddling it because she hasn't taken it into the front court yet.
Well, Judge Memorial is going to get the ball back, and it goes into the hands of Sidbury, who finds Collins out in the perimeter, dribbling in for the shot. Doesn't quite get it. Finds Sidbury again. Sidbury at the top of the key. Finds Anajok. Anajok driving in the lane. Blocked by Garish, who secures the rebound and passes out to Timothy. Timothy going all the way in. Another steal by Anajok, heading back the other way. No one to catch her, and it's an easy layup by Anajok. 21-12, Judge Memorial.
That's how quick things can turn. It looked like Carbon had a good 3-on-2 advantage, and Judge managed to get a fast break of their own from it.
Carbon's going to want to take a timeout here now and have a bit of their own. We'll go ahead and take a timeout with them, and we'll be right back in 30 seconds.
With made-to-go deli items, including its world-famous pizza, locally owned and operated BK Stop and Shop in Huntington serves the community with a smile. BK's has long been a gathering place for locals and travelers alike, offering the most basic of snacks to a delicious plate of shrimp. Fill up your vehicle with at least 10 gallons of Sinclair fuel and get a stamp on BK's frequent fueler card toward a free pizza. BK's also offers a catering service for your company party or town festival. BK's is located at 506 Main Street in Huntington.
Welcome back to Weber State for the game between Judge Memorial and Carbon. Quick shout out to the Carbon student section. They look to be about 3 rows deep here, making a long trip. Carbon's going to have the ball, and they've inbounded. Jansen bringing it up. Jansen looking for a pass, finds Garish. Garish has the ball, finds an open Timothy. Timothy, long two, not quite in. But Garish gets the rebound and goes up for the layup, not quite again. Garish catches her own rebound. She tries to find Orth, but Orth takes a little too few too many steps, and it's another travel call. Possession goes back to Judge. Judge inbounds to Collins. Collins will take it up. Another half-court set for Carbon. Collins out to Aneljock. Aneljock takes a three. Short again, but Aneljock gets her own rebound, passes it out to Collins. Collins finds Pike. Pike has an open lane to go in for the layup. Not quite in there. It's a fight for the rebound. And a kickball looks to have been by Carbon. So Judge is inbounding under the basket.
If you're Carbon, this is dangerous territory. You got to get within a couple possessions.
Pike rebounds out to the perimeter for Collins. Collins drives in the lane, floater up and good. Judge Memorial now up 23-12, starting to create a little bit of distance from the Dinos. Jansen and Timothy bringing it up. Timothy, top of the key, finds Orth. Orth to Timothy, and we got a foul on the perimeter. With Carbon being in the bonus, that is going to go ahead and send Timothy to the line. And this, if you're Carbon, this is how you get in the game.
Exactly, and it's been a good job by Judge because they've been in the bonus the entire half, but we're almost halfway through the second quarter, and it's the first foul called on the Bulldogs.
We talked a lot about Carbon's defense, and you know throughout the season that Judge Memorial is an offensive team. But I've yet to see a pass by Carbon that Judge hasn't been diving to try and intercept. So this is going to be a really tough defensive game on both sides.
Yeah, Judge is just so long and athletic, and when they have Sidbury at the top of that full court press, it makes it really tough for the guards to get the ball around.
Timothy makes one of two, and now it's 23. Or actually, makes two of two. Excuse me. It's 23-14. They close the gap a little bit. Judge heading fast the other way, finds Angwan McCall in the middle, and shots up, no good. Carbon rebounds. Garish finding Timothy. Timothy's heading fast back the other way. Going to slow down a little bit. She was running into Sidbury there. Finds Jansen. Jansen looking for an opportunity. Out to Orth. Orth finds Timothy. Timothy up for the layup. Makes it. That's a solid-looking layup from Micaiah Timothy, and that'll bring Carbon within a few more points, 23-16. Pike.
Yeah. Amaya just blew by Sidbury and the rest of the Bulldog defense. She's crazy fast. I mean, she's a really good soccer player, and you can see those skills translate onto the basketball court.
Maya Renteria in for the Bulldogs. She's handling things at the top of the key here in place of Collins. So it's Pike and Renteria. Pass back to Pike. Pike looking to get a bit of a layup in here. Underhand shot, no good. Rebound Carbon. Number 25, Beverly Lancaster, taking it back the other way all by herself. She's going to pass out of it. Goes back to Timothy. Timothy, another jumper. Not quite. Rebound by herself. She passes to Orth. Orth finds Lancaster. Lancaster Ooh, it's stolen right out of her hands by Pike. Pike's going to get Sidbury. Sidbury's got numbers. This does not look good. And it's going to go right up the middle. Floater, good for Sidbury. 25-16 in Judge's favor. Carbon heading back the other way. Orth found completely alone beneath the basket. Does not quite get the layup in now. So it looks like it was a out on Judge in that particularly fast possession for the Dinos. Carbon's going to rebound right below the basket. Finds Orth. Orth has taken a jumper from the corner. Almost got a friendly roll, not quite in. Orth actually gets the rebound again. Goes in the middle.
So they're getting a foul now. The back official called a blocking foul.
Clear disagreement among the officials there. One person thought that it was out on Judge Memorial, but the back judge comes in with a foul call, so Orth is actually going to head to the line for 2. Got some substitutions here. So far, it's been some interesting calls on this game. You've got the backcourt violation, and then referees disagreeing a little bit on that foul call as Orth hits the first of 2. Orth is going to hit the second one, so it's 25-18. Carbon narrows the gap a little bit more. Despite Judge being up, this is still very much a Carbon-style game as Judge Memorial is dealing with 8 fouls. Judge heading back the other way. Renteria has the ball on the perimeter. Nearly falls down on the pass, but Collins, who's back in, goes for the layup. Doesn't quite get the friendly roll. Rebound Garish. Timothy heading back the other way fast. It's 1 on 3. Timothy's going to take the shot anyway. Doesn't quite get it. And ball nearly goes out, and it does go out. Judge Memorial ball.
I almost thought that was going to be off a Bulldog player before. I think it was Williams that touched it.
Collins heading back the other way with Renteria. Renteria, Pike, and Collins on the perimeter. Pike looking for an opportunity. Looks like Collins is itching at the fingers to take this shot, and she doesn't. She's going to go out to Renteria. Back up to Collins. Scanning the entire offense and taking their sweet time. Collins tries for a drive, doesn't quite get it. Pike for 3, air ball. And it's going to go back Carbon's way as it goes out of bounds.
This is an important time for Carbon with Taya Sidbury on the sideline. You'd like to claw your way back into the game if you're the Dinos.
Sidbury on the sideline, and Judge has yet to make a three-pointer in this game, which bears well for Carbon so far. They've hit 90 so far in the year as Timothy goes in, draws contact, and is going to head into the line on that layup attempt. Timothy's had quite her share of trips to the line so far. She knows exactly what Carbon's game plan is going to be in this game, and she's executing it very, very well. First shot up, and it's good. Timothy with the free throw. Scores 25-19 so far.
Still a low-scoring game, which obviously favors the Dinos. This Bulldog team can score in a hurry, though. We've seen it.
Molly Banks checks in for Garish. Second shot is up. Timothy misses it. So Judge Memorial heading the other way. 25-19 is the lead for Judge. Collins playing around with Timothy on the playing around with the new player on the front, and Pike's got it. Out to Collins. Out to Pike. Pike tries to pass out, and it's a turnover. Banks headed the other way. Banks goes for the layup, doesn't quite get it. Timothy catches the rebound, puts it back in, and scores. 25-21. We're in the final minute of the first half. Judge Memorial heading back the other way. Renteria passes over to Collins. Collins looking for an opportunity, takes the floater, and she gets the foul and one. Very impressive shot by Collins. She'll be heading to the line for an and one opportunity. And it's 27-21 Judge.
And that's what great teams do. Carbon seemed like they had a little bit of momentum with the steal and then the putback by Williams. And then Collins comes right back and gets to the foul line and then also makes the basket with a chance for a three-point play.
Collins taking the first of her only shot here, and it's a little bit short. Rebound, Carbon. Going to go out to Timothy. Timothy gets a stolen. It's going back to Sidbury. Sidbury for three. Not quite. It's going to go out of bounds, and this will stay with Judge.
Quick look on the Jane Auto replay, and it's kind of hard to tell from our angle. A lot of bodies there, a lot of legs.
26 seconds left. I imagine they'll be looking for Sidbury on this inbounds play. And they do. Sidbury over in the corner. She is taking on the defense. Sideways shot. Not quite going in, but it looks like another foul called on Carbon. Sidbury's going to go ahead and head to the line. This will be two shots for Sidbury as Judge is starting to slowly sneak into the bonus here. Carbon has 5 fouls. They got one more to give before the end of this half. Sidbury hits the first of her 2 shots. It'll be 28-21.
So much for the most part of this half, though. The Dinos have done a pretty good job on Sidbury. At least limiting her on the offensive end.
Second shot in by Sidbury, 29-21. Full court press by Judge. Carbon manages to break it. Banks out to Orth. Orth trying to find her way around the defense. Doesn't quite get it. She's trapped. Stolen by Aneljock. It's 6 seconds left. 5 seconds left. Judge heading the other way. Stolen again. Renteria for 3. And it's airballed as time expires. So the final score of the half is 29-21. Looks like we have a bit of
don't go anywhere.
Conversation here. Referees are going to be calling a foul. Renteria got some contact on that desperation heave right at the very last part.
Wow.
And apparently Carbon disliked it enough to draw a technical foul, so Renteria is going to go ahead and take these shots alone.
Well, is it a technical or is they just there's no time left, so there's no reason to stand there? Well, I guess we'll see how many foul shots she shoots.
First one is missed. Renteria takes the second shot. That one is also missed.
It's hard to call a foul on a desperation 3 that had no chance of going in. Although I think it was a foul.
Third shot going up for Renteria, and that one is made.
Yeah, so it's just a foul. There's no technical. There's time expired.
So that'll be all for this first half. Judge Memorial is going to go to the locker room with a 9-point lead, 30-21. So far, not too bad of a game between these two teams. Judge is executing on offense about as well as you can with this Carbon defense, but Carbon's playing a great game and slowing this down, keeping themselves in the bonus. Pardon me there. 21 points for Carbon. They'll be looking to try and close that gap a little bit more and play just as intensive defense as they have been in this first half. It's going to be tough to keep Judge down for long, so you hope that they can find some offense somewhere.
Yeah, that's what Coach Carlson and the Dinos are going to talk about during halftime. It's just how to limit Judge and get some points on the offensive end.
All right, we'll be heading to break as we get prepared for the second half. And a word from our sponsors.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
Are you tired of having to spend more time in the dental office than necessary? Why not minimize that by having your crown completed in a single visit? At Dr. Brett Lowe's office in Price, the highly trained team can fabricate porcelain crowns and other restorations in as little as 60 to 90 minutes with no impressions or temporary crowns. Most dental insurance plans are accepted. Call 637-2929 today to schedule your appointment.
Pain doesn't have to slow you down. Ditch the drugs and nasty side effects that go with them. There's a fast, safe, and proven effective non-drug option for pain relief.
Alphasim's a handheld medical device that's FDA cleared that allows us to treat your pain, but it also allows us to treat your brain for anxiety, insomnia, and depression. It's easy to use at home and works immediately. There's no lasting side effects and no risk of addiction.
It's time to supercharge your internet with a true broadband internet plan from Emory Telecom. Get ready for high-gear downloads that power buffer-free streaming, gaming, sharing, and surfing. And fire up all your devices at once with reliable speeds amplified by the latest Wi-Fi equipment. Get on the fast track to a powerful online experience. Call or click EmoryTelecom.com to supercharge your internet today.
Digital cable is a classic. But if you're not enjoying more streaming video services, you're missing out. Emory Telecom has the e-fiber internet speeds and reliable Wi-Fi you need for flawless video streaming from all the latest services on all your devices. Whether you want to enhance your streaming options or connect with maximum bandwidth, Emory Telecom's got a sweet plan to make everyone happy. Call or visit EmoryTelecom.com now to upgrade for just $10 more per month.
JN Auto loves our customers and our community, so we have sanitized our entire inventory. Mold, germs, and yes, coronavirus are eradicated. Our all-natural treatment is safe for you, your pets, and anyone you take along in your new ride. After 6 months, stop by and we can get you rolling germ-free again. Treatments are offered in a single application or a 1, 3, or 5-year contract. Stop by your local JN Auto location to learn more about our sanitizing options.
Have a home improvement project? Don't go over the hill. Stop by Magnuson Lumber in Castledale for the tools and expertise you need. Whether it's a new coat of paint in the living room or building your dream home, Magnuson has the supplies you need to get the job done. Our friendly, well-trained staff will help you with any project, and we'll deliver to both Emory and Carbon counties. Visit Magnuson Lumber at 495 East Main in Castledale.
The men and women of Nielsen Construction pride themselves in taking care of their customers wherever and whenever they are needed. They provide service in the fields of heavy excavation, road construction, concrete operations, crane operations, welding, and much more. Their trucking division provides coal service hauling for area coal mines, and their fleet of heavy hauling transports provides overside load transportation for a long list of customers who need material delivered safely and on time. Nielsen Construction is locally owned and a proud supporter of the athletic departments in Carbon, Emory, and Grand County. No matter the size of the project, Nielsen Construction has the experience, equipment, and manpower to get the job done.
Welcome back to your Emory Telecom Centricom broadcast here up at Weber State University for a quarterfinal matchup between the Judge Memorial Bulldogs and the Carbon Dinos. We're here in halftime. We got about 4 minutes left to go. Just taking a look at some stats here. And in the market of things that were not surprising at all, Taya Sidbury leading all scorers currently with 15 points. But maybe a little bit more surprising is Amaya Timothy for Carbon clearly said, I'll see your star player and raise you one of my own. She's got 11 points on 3 of 9 shooting, 5 of 6 at the free throw line, which is really the story for Carbon so far in keeping him in the game. They're shooting a very impressive 11 of 14 from the charity stripe compared to 7 of 12 for the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs have not had a great time shooting against this Carbon defense. They are shooting 11 of 32 overall, 1 of 10 from 3. So far, Carbon has shot 5 of 18. They're 0 for 3 from the three-pointer, not putting a whole lot of emphasis on the perimeter shots so far.
Well, Carbon's not a good three-point shooting team, so it's actually good for the Dinos that they're not shooting a lot because they generally don't go in.
Judge Memorial does have a lead 30-21. This is a team that, typically speaking, it's not uncommon for a team like Judge to score in the 70s to the 80s on most teams. So keeping them below 30, on pace for about 60 points, not a bad place to be if you're Carbon. You just got to get some offense running, and that's, I'm sure, what they're planning to do in this second half.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the Dinos because we kind of talked about this at the beginning of the game. If they can keep the Bulldogs into that low 40s, maybe even low 50s, it gives the Dinos a chance. But if they get up into the upper 50s, 60s, it's going to be really tough for this Carbon team to keep up with them offensively. So I think Carbon played pretty good defense, but sometimes they would get a steal and then the Bulldogs would immediately steal it back. And that just shows you how athletic and talented this Bulldog team is, and there's a reason why they're the number 1 seed in the bracket.
Carbon came into this hoping to slow down Judge on offense as much as possible. What they may not have been prepared for is just how tenacious the Judge Memorial Bulldogs have been on defense, diving for a lot of Carbon's passes and disrupting a lot of things on offense. So far, the Bulldogs are actually leading the Dinos in the steal category. Bulldogs have 12 steals to Carbon's 6. What the Dinos are doing very well is being able to get those fouls on Judge. So far, a number of Judge Memorial's players do have at least 2 fouls, including Taya Sidbury. If that's a player that they can get into foul trouble, that would spell a lot of hope for Carbon.
It would definitely change the complexity of the game. We've seen how Taya Sidbury can overtake, or she can score on 2 or 3 players, which is pretty amazing, and there's a reason why she's committed to a D1 school here in Utah and the Utes. But yeah, it's going to be tough. You're going to have to play really disciplined. And the one thing that I was most impressed about, Matt, is Judge's ability to press, even if it's just 2 people, and double once the Dinos get a steal. So usually most teams, when they turn the ball over, they'll come back and retreat and try to play good defense. But the Bulldogs, they'll pick it up in the backcourt and put a lot of pressure on the opposition.
Other players putting up stats, Marika Collins for the Bulldogs, number 3. She has 8 total points. And on the Dinos side, other than Timothy's 11 points, next scorer up is Haley Garish, who had 2 layups and is currently in second place with 4 points. So she's providing that bench spark for the Dinos as they're going to inbound. And it looks like Timothy's going to bring it up for the Carbon. Carbon's going to find Jansen, who doesn't quite make it. So it's heading back the other way. Collins has nobody defending her. Carbon catches up to her, contests the layup, and Collins does miss the layup. And there appears to have been a foul on the floor. So Judge is going to take that one on the ground, inbounding below the basket. Pike looking for number 5 for Judge. That is Angoao Makho, who misses the shot. Timothy heading the other way. Timothy finds
Stevie
Oman. Finds Orth. Madison Orth is on the floor as Collins heads the other way, goes for the layup, doesn't make it. Pike for the rebound. Pike finds Collins again under the basket, doesn't quite go for the shot. She's going to dribble out to the perimeter, goes back in again herself, goes for the layup, misses. Rebound by Judge, and it looks like it was batted out of bounds, and there's no foul on the play, but Judge does still retain possession. Pike looking to inbound.
That's good sportsmanship by Omen. Go and help the Bulldog players up.
Collins, uncontested three in the corner, airballed, and Carbon gets the rebound. Sydney Orth heading the other way.
She's really hard to put on a press after a missed basket, but the Bulldogs do a great job of it.
And they did enough of a good job at it that Carbon does not get out of the backcourt. It's a 5-second call. It's going to head the other way for Judge. Collins is inbounding at half court over to Pike. Pike heading around a small screen, out to Collins, back to Pike, top of the key. Pike's getting a little bit of defensive pressure by Omen. She finds Collins, who finds Sidbury, but Sidbury's well defended. She does not retain possession. Carbon gets the turnover. Jones heading the other way. Jensen, heading the other way. Timothy for three. She makes it! First three of the game for Carbon.
It's a great shot by Timothy.
Big shot as Carbon gets the first points of the first half. 30-24 in Judge's favor. Pike heading the other way. Collins finds Sidbury, but still well defended by Amaya Timothy, who bats it out of bounds. Collins is going to go ahead and take it inbound again. Switches out for Pike. Pike's going to go ahead and inbound this ball again.
Just a two-possession game now.
Pike inbounds to Collins, who gives it back to Pike, finds Renteria, who passes back up to Collins. Collins dribbles in, finds Renteria, kick out for three, missed it. Rebound Carbon, back out to Timothy. Nope, that's out to, back out to Jensen. Excuse me. Finds Omen, who finds Timothy. Timothy passes to Orth. Orth is looking for the shot, doesn't quite find it. Pass out to Jensen. It looks like there was a block on that shot. Possession is going to go in favor of Judge. Carbon does not like that one.
No, they're
that is Carbon.
I think Carbon was upset that there wasn't a foul called. I think that was the body language.
Sidbury defending the inbound. Jensen gets it out to Timothy. Timothy looking for a shot. Takes the shot anyway, and not quite in there. But Carbon gets the rebound. Jensen Orth went up for the shot and got fouled. So she's going to go ahead and head to the line on that putback attempt. This is a great opportunity for Carbon to get back into the game and put this within 5 or maybe even 4 points of Judge.
The Dinos have done a great job in the second half of getting rebounds and beating Judge to the ball. And they're going to have to keep up with that intensity to make up for the athleticism of the Bulldogs.
First free throw shot by Orth is missed. She'll be going for the second. Looks like Renteria is checking out for Judge. Aneljock will be heading in. Orth's second shot up and good. So that's 12 of 16 now on free throws for Carbon. As Judge heads the other way, Collins out to Pike. Pike looking for an open player. She's going to pass over to Deng. Deng finds Aneljock, looking for Collins. Collins streaking down inside. She gets pretty harshly fouled there, and she'll head to the line.
I think just the legs got tripped up.
Not the most graceful of ways to go down to the ground, but at least she's okay.
Definitely not, but I don't think it was malicious by any means.
Certainly not.
Actually,
so that one looks to not be a shooting foul. So Pike's going to go ahead and take it inbound under the basket. Pike out to Collins in the corner. Collins dribbling out the perimeter. Defended hard by Omen. Out to Aneljock. Collins under the basket. Blocked. Pike gets the rebound. And it looks like Pike was kind of standing on top of a Carbon player. Carbon couldn't quite get out of the way, so it's going to be another foul on Carbon. This is a little bit of a flipped script so far from the first half. Carbon looks to be gathering the fouls here in the first few minutes. Not exactly what you want to happen against Judge. As the inbound goes to Sidbury, that's blocked, but a rebound by Judge, and they get it in on a putback attempt. 32-25 Judge as Carbon's bringing it back up, facing a mild full court press. Out to Timothy. Timothy goes up for a mid-range floater. Little bit too long. Rebound Carbon. Back out to Timothy. Timothy had it deflected out of her hands, and it stays with Carbon.
There's no doubt that Timothy is a great shooter and a great player, but the Dinos need to find somebody else that can make a basket.
Mowers inbounds, finds Garish, and there's your other person. Garish with her 6th point of the game as she makes a layup just under the basket. 32-27 Judge Memorial. They've led so far the entire game as Collins brings it up, finds Pike. Pike finds Sidbury. Sidbury looking to take on the defense, and she goes for the shot. Not quite. Rebound Anajok. Anajok is fouled as she tried to take it back up and had hands all over her.
I think they called a jump ball, actually. Let's see if possession changes. Yeah, it does.
Inbound by, so that was a jump ball, inbounded, to Collins. Collins took a mid-range jumper and sunk it, 34-27 Judge Memorial. Carbon heading back the other way as she goes out to Orth. Orth back to Jensen. Jensen at the top of the key, defended well. Inbound to Orth. Orth taking it in the paint and is stolen by Sidbury. Sidbury finds Collins streaking down the court. One-on-one opportunity against Jensen. Misses the layup. Rebound. Judge out to Anajok. Mid-range jumper. Missed it. Rebound again to Judge. Blocked. Goes out of bounds, and it'll stay with Judge Memorial.
And for as good as Carbon has done cleaning up the boards in this half, that was not their possession. Way too many opportunities for the Bulldogs there.
Collins heading to the free throw line. First shot up and not quite. So that's a miss for Judge Memorial. Score stays at 34-27. Subs coming in, number 25 and number 21 for Carbon. Kennedy Williams and Beverly Lancaster checking in. Collins' second shot is up and rolls in for the score. 35-27 Judge. Timothy with the ball as she heads up to the top of the key, looking to create her own offense. She's trying to get around the defense, not quite able to do so. Finds Garish under the basket. Garish passes out to Williams. Williams finds, that's Williams now picking up the shot. It looks like it got deflected out. She couldn't quite maintain possession, and it turns into a turnover for Judge. Timeout gets called. It looks like that was that Carbon that called that?
Judge did.
All right, looks like Judge calls the timeout. We'll go ahead and take a break with them, and we'll be back in 30 seconds.
So when I came to USC Eastern, I knew how to weld, but I didn't know the theory behind the welding. And if I came across an issue in the field, I didn't know how to troubleshoot it because I didn't know the science behind the metallurgy that was going on. My favorite thing going to school here was probably competing in the U.S. Weld Trials, and I set a goal where I was going to be the United States representative for a World Skills Competition. And I didn't stop until it happened, and here we are today. My name's Chandler Vincent, and college started for me at USU Eastern.
Welcome back to Weber State for the Emory Telecom Centricom broadcast of Judge Memorial versus Carbon. Judge Memorial holding a 35-27 lead as they inbound the ball to Anajok. Anajok finds Pike in the middle of the paint. Out to Sidbury. Sidbury for three. That's her first three of the game, and it's buried. So 38-27 Judge Memorial. Sidbury is going to be coming pretty close to 20 points here so far based on our halftime stats. Pass by Williams, stolen. Sidbury's heading down. 2-on-1 opportunity. Layup, missed it. Good defense by Timothy. She's heading back the other way. Timothy passes out to Garish. Garish, uncontested layup, not quite in. Rebound Judge. Collins heading back the other way. Collins finds Sidbury. Nobody's close to Sidbury at all. She takes a short shot, but 25 was just barely there to defend it and missed by Sidbury. Carbon's heading back the other way. Timothy's got the ball. Letting things slow down a little bit here after some pretty chaotic possessions. Finds Garish. Back to Timothy. Layup under the basket and good. Great offensive possession by Carbon. Scores 38-29 Judge Memorial. Pike heading back the other way with Anajoc and Collins. Just crossing half court. Slowing. You can tell both teams are trying to slow this down a little bit, but it's getting pretty chaotic with these turnovers. Pike finds Anajoc. Anajoc. Back to Pike. Still at the top of the key here. Finds Sidbury. Sidbury lost her footing a little bit there. Passed it out. Found Anajoc. Back to Pike. Players falling all over the place. Pike goes up for the layup. Floater and in. 40-29 Judge Memorial on the mid-range floater from Pike. Passing to Timothy. Timothy taking it back the other way for Carbon.
It's a nice little floater.
Pass into Garish. Garish is looking for the hook shot. Doesn't quite make it. Rebound Carbon. Doesn't make it. Rebound Carbon again. Doesn't make it. Rebound Judge to Pike. Pike is heading back the other way, facing a bit of a tough defense, but she breaks it. Pass out to Collins. Collins spins, trying to find the shot. Doesn't find it. Out to Pike. Pike for three. Missed. Rebound Collins almost, but she was out of bounds when she got it, so it's going to be possession back to Carbon on the turnover. All right, looks like we're waiting for Pike to tie her shoe on the other end, and she's done it. So, Carbon's going to inbound the ball. Jensen and Timothy heading up for Carbon. Jensen to Timothy to Garish. Garish finds... So it's a pass down below, and it was...
Is that Lancaster?
Lancaster. Sorry, I was seeing 35 for a second. I'm trying to see the best I can. So that was Lancaster trying to make a basket underneath, but she was foul on it, so she's taking two shots here.
It's good
First
passing
shot
by the
is
Dinos.
Short. Carbon's definitely looking a bit more clean on offense. Just a matter of getting these shots in. Judge is picking it up a little bit on offense as well. You're going to have to try and slow that down as the second shot is missed. So 0 of 2 on that opportunity to the line for Carbon. Judge heads fast back the other way. Pass into the paint for Anajoc. It's almost a turnover, but Collins secures it. Passes out to Sidbury.
Timeout.
And it looks like we got a timeout by Judge once again. So that'll be a full timeout taken. That'll be a full timeout taken by Judge Memorial. We'll go ahead and head to break. We'll be back with you as soon as we can.
Just because you're living on a budget doesn't mean you can't afford quality items at a fair price. 911 Pond is not your typical pawn shop. Our goal is to provide the best quality products at a great value. Come in and see our huge selection of guns and hard-to-find ammo, camping gear, the new furniture showroom, bed frames, and more. We are located at 78 North Carbon Avenue in Price.
We're back to the Emory Telecom Centricom simulcast of Judge Memorial versus Carbon here up at Weber State University in Ogden. Judge Memorial has some separation from Carbon so far, leading 40-29. Carbon playing pretty well into the foul game so far, but Judge only has 2 fouls so far in this half. Carbon's going to want to get a little bit more aggressive, trying to get to the line more often so far. And right now it is Judge Memorial's possession under the basket. Renteria looking to inbound. Inbound to Collins. Collins on the three-point line to Renteria. Back to Collins. Up the top of the half court. Out to Sidbury. Sidbury is scanning the defense. Sidbury's going in for the shot. Floater. Missed it. But she does draw the foul, and Sidbury will head to the line for 2.
Sidbury's just a really tough guard, and I think if the Dinos would have allowed her a place to land, probably would not have been a foul, but
First shot by Sidbury is good, 41-29.
you have to allow the shooter space to land. And that's as much a safety concern than anything else.
Second shot by Sidbury is good. Carbon heading back fast the other way. Timothy taking the offense. Passes out to Jensen. Jensen finds Garish. Back to Timothy. Timothy going up for the layup. Not quite. Rebound bobbled around quite a bit. And the third quarter comes to an end. Half court by Anojok is short. So third quarter comes to an end, 42-29 in Judge Memorial's favor. A little bit more separation than when began the second half. Carbon's got 5 fouls to Judge's 2. That is a flip script based on what we were seeing in that first half.
Yeah, it is different, and the Dinos are just going to have to regroup in this quarter break and see if they can't make a comeback. But this is a really talented, tough, number 1 seeded Judge Memorial team, and the Bulldogs in the driver's seat right now, up by 13 with the final 8 minutes to come.
Well, this will either turn into exactly what a lot of people probably think it's going to turn into, or it's 8 minutes of glory for Carbon. So this could be a very interesting quarter. But Carbon's going to be playing for their lives here.
Yeah, definitely your playoff life because, and again, in a single elimination tournament, you only get one chance. And so obviously the Dinos, if they lose, they would play in a consolation game tomorrow. But as far as the state title hopes go, they would be dashed. So 8 minutes left to see what you have left in the tank. You do get to start off the ball. So if you can get a quick point on this early possession, then it can change the complexity of the half or the quarter.
If you're a senior for Carbon, this is the hardest you are ever going to play.
Yeah.
Air ball by Carbon on the first shot. Rebound Sidbury. Sidbury heading back the other way.
Dinos looking for a quick 3 to climb back in this one, but just couldn't knock it down.
Collins to Sidbury. Sidbury's going to take a 3. She's going to bury it. That is painful if you're Carbon.
She's started to find her range, Sidbury has.
That's 45-29 Judge as Jansen takes it back the other way to Timothy, back to Jensen. Jensen scanning the defense, trying to find the open opportunity, and pass it out to Lindy Maurer. Back to Jensen at the top of the key. Back over to Maurer. Maurer's in the corner trying to find, I think is
That's
Lancaster.
Yep.
One of these days I'm going to recognize Lancaster on the first time, but that's going to go out to Jensen. Maurer's going to take the shot. Doesn't quite get it in. Rebound Lancaster. And it's a kickball off of Sidbury, I believe, and that's going to go back Carbon's way. So Jensen's going to rebound, going to inbound at the just under the basket here. Looking for Maurer up at the top. She'll find her. Pass out to Timothy. Timothy finds Garish. Finds Maurer, and it's Lancaster in the paint trying to find the shot. Finds Garish underneath and doesn't quite get it in. Rebound Sidbury. Sidbury heading back the other way, trying to catch the defense off guard. Goes for the floater. Doesn't quite make it in. Rebound Carbon. Timothy heading back the other way, racing in the entire defense. She's only got Renteria, and she gets past her and puts in the layup for the score. 45-31. Carbon gets the score.
Timothy's just been really tough in this game. Just a sophomore. It'll be fun to watch her over the next couple years.
Sidbury at the top of the key, scanning the Carbon defense. Looks to be in a bit of a toe 3 zone with Jensen guarding Sidbury. Jensen is a lot smaller than Sidbury, but she is certainly not acting like it. Playing very, very good defense on Sidbury so far. It wasn't up until this late third and fourth quarter that Sidbury really started to make her shots, as Judge Memorial makes another one there, 47-31. Carbon heading back the other way. Maurer in the corner finds Timothy at the top of the key. Timothy finds Lancaster. Shot blocked by Anajok. And Renteria for Judge Memorial heading back the other way. Finds Collins. Collins Dribbles out to Anojak. Anojak, 3 in the corner, and that is good. Judge Memorial starting to really pick up steam here as they're up 50-31 on that three-pointer.
And the Bulldogs really hadn't shot well from beyond the arc until late in this game, and it's only going to make it tougher for the Dinos to claw their way back into this one.
Madison Orth checking in for Lindy Maurer. She'll head back to the bench. It looks like last possession was a turnover by Carbon. Judge Memorial is going to go ahead and inbound. Sidbury to Pike here. Pike heading back up court. Speeding it up, finds Renteria. Renteria is not going to go anywhere as Judge Memorial calls a timeout. So that looks to be a full timeout by Judge Memorial. We'll be back after this break.
At Auto Farm Price, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, we make it happen for you.
Auto Farm has a huge selection of vehicles to choose from at the guaranteed lowest price. Auto Farm will not be undersold. The best deal on a new or pre-owned vehicle is at Auto Farm. If they don't have what you're looking for, they'll find it for you. Find all the great deals and all their inventory online at PriceChryslerDodgeJeep.com.
At Auto Farm Price Ford, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, we make it happen for you.
With made-to-go deli items, including its world-famous pizza, locally owned and operated BK Stop and Shop in Huntington serves the community with a smile. BK's has long been a gathering place for locals and travelers alike, offering the most basic of snacks to a delicious plate of shrimp. Fill up your vehicle with at least 10 gallons of Sinclair fuel and get a stamp on BK's frequent fueler card toward a free pizza. BK's also offers a catering service for your company party or town festival. BK's is located at 506 Main Street in Huntington.
Welcome back to Weber State. We're in the Emory Telecom simulcast coverage with Centricom, Channel 10, here between Judge Memorial and Carbon. 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Judge with a pretty convincing 50-31 lead. They've got possession here. Pike finding Deng. Sorry, that is not Deng. That just charges in. That's number 5, Angwal McCall for Judge Memorial, who doesn't quite get the shot in, does pick up the foul. She'll be heading to the line for 2. So now we're at the point where Carbon really would have wanted to play the foul game as best as possible. They're the ones in the bonus right now, while Judge has 2 fouls and 4 to give. If Carbon wanted to win this at the line, they're going to have to draw a lot more contact. But
yeah, it might be a little too late.
Definitely too late at this point.
For that game plan.
So Judge has been able to play a very clean game in this second half as McCall makes that second shot. 51-31 is a 20-point lead for the Bulldogs. Carbon heading back the other way with Timothy. Out to Lancaster, back up to Timothy at the top of the key. She's going to try and find Madison Orth down below the basket. It's a little bit overthrown, so that is a turnover back to Judge Memorial.
There's missed opportunities in this one. And Judge, again, they're the number 1 seed for a reason, but when you're playing against a really good team, you can't give the ball away, and the Dinos have just done that too much tonight.
Judge Memorial heading back the other way. Sidbury taking on Madison Orth. She goes for the layup. Doesn't quite make it in. She gets her own rebound. Puts it out to number 22 for Judge Memorial. That is Adior Zhuang, center for Judge Memorial. She's a senior.
Called that a charge.
Looks like an offensive foul was charged, so they're going to give that back to Carbon. Timothy's going to take it back. We're looking at this point like Carbon may well be preparing for the consolation bracket. But we got 4 minutes left to play here as Omen takes a 3, doesn't quite make it. Rebound Judge Memorial as she's fighting with a couple of Carbon players there. Omen and Prescott trying to get the ball back. But it's a jump ball in favor of Judge Memorial.
Matt, you talked about it. I mean, these seniors, they're going to play their hearts out the last until the clock runs at 000. And so Omen, one of the seniors for the Dinos, she's scratching and clawing, trying to get a loose ball.
You know you're going to get a great game out of Timothy in these last couple minutes, even though she's a sophomore. Timothy's going to be back here. But this is a great opportunity to know just how much pressure it does take to be in these kinds of games. And so far, Timothy has really well performed.
And she's been a star for this Dino team, especially in the second half of the season.
Timothy finds Madison Orth just on the basket, but the shot attempt is blocked. Carbon still gets the rebound. And it looks like Carbon wants to take time out. So they're going to go ahead and head back to the bench. We'll be back after this timeout.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
Are you tired of having to spend more time in the dental office than necessary? Why not minimize that by having your crown completed in a single visit? At Dr. Brett Lowe's office in Price, the highly trained team can fabricate porcelain crowns and other restorations in as little as 60 to 90 minutes with no impressions or temporary crowns. Most dental insurance plans are accepted. Call 637-2929 today to schedule your appointment.
We're back here for the final 3 minutes and 30 seconds of our Emory Telecom broadcast of Carbon versus Judge Memorial. As Carbon gets a layup under the basket by Amia Timothy. Great game all game long for her as the Judge Memorial Bulldogs lead 51-33. Collins is taking her sweet time here at the top of half court. Not a whole lot the Bulldogs need to do with this one. But she's looking for an opportunity to get her own shot here and is not quite finding it, so she'll back up to half court again. She goes for the layup, and it looked like a block, but it's going to be a foul on Timothy. That'll send Collins to the line. That is the 7th team foul for Collins. I believe that was the first foul for Timothy all game. I'll have to check that out at the stats. Timothy did have 0 fouls at halftime and has still played pretty clean all game long. First shot is up and good for Collins, 52-33, Judge Memorial. And they're going to send a few players out for Judge Memorial. Second shot is up and no good. Rebound Judge Memorial by Anna Jock. Back to Collins. Collins looking for another opportunity. She doesn't get it. Pass it out to Pike. Sidbury for 3. No good. Rebound by Carbon. There's a foul on the floor as Molly Banks went tumbling down. But it looks like that foul actually was on Molly Banks. So that's actually sending Esther Aneljock to the line.
Should be a 1-1 since the Bulldogs are in the bonus.
First shot is up and no good. And my apologies, that was not Anna Jock who was taking that shot. That was actually Nyangdeng Deng who was taking that free throw shot.
I'm wondering at what point, if you're the Bulldogs, you pull your starters to save their legs for tomorrow's semifinal game.
Amia Timothy goes tumbling to the ground. She took a bit of a face full of hardwood on that one, but she looks like she's okay. Possession is going to stay with Carbon. Timothy will inbound. Looking for an opportunity, and she finds Omen. Omen's up at the top of the key, takes a 3. No good. Rebound almost back to Carbon, but Anjak manages to corral it. And it's going to stay with Judge Memorial after the whistle. So inbound Anajok, and that was actually a foul on Omen on that tussle for the ball. And because we've got Judge Memorial pretty far into the bonus at this point, Anajoc is heading to the line for a 1-on-1. You get one more foul on Carbon, and Judge is going to be shooting a lot of free throws the rest of the way. Anajoc's first shot is up, and it's good. So that secures her second shot attempt. Prescott and Lancaster, I believe, are under the basket for Carbon. Second shot is up, short. Rebound back to Anajoc. Anajoc going for the layup. No good. Rebound Sidbury. Sidbury doesn't get it. Passes out to Anajoc. Layup, no good. Rebound Judge Memorial again. Anajoc just gets it in. That was actually Dang who put in the layup for that final tip in. 55-33 Judge Memorial. Carbon heading the other way. Timothy tried to get past Sidbury. Sidbury stole the ball. She's got nobody challenging her on the way to the basket. Layup by Sidbury is good. 57-33 Judge. Carbon heading back the other way one more time. Timothy trying to head back into the basket. She finds Prescott. Prescott does not manage to get a shot up. Starts playing tug of war with the ball. And that's looking like that possession is going to stay with Carbon, as we got a lot of subs coming in for Judge Memorial. So on the court for Judge Memorial, looks like mostly underclassmen at this point. Carbon inbounds. And 20 Gracie Vasquez with the ball, finds Lancaster. Lancaster spins. That's actually Carly Hillam who was going for the basket, but it's blocked. Incredible amount of length for Judge. They've been getting a lot of blocks all game long.
Yeah, that's
Carbon's looking to
that's a
inbound
great
again.
description of this Bulldog team. They're just so long and athletic. It's like, wait,
Carbon's taking yet another timeout, so we're going to go ahead and take that with them, and we'll be back as soon as we can. Welcome back to Weber State University for Emory Telecom's broadcast of Judge Memorial versus Carbon High School. This one looks to be just about put away for Judge Memorial. They have a 24-point lead, 57-33 here with just under 2 minutes remaining. Carbon's inbounding the ball, goes for the layup, doesn't quite make it. Rebound Judge Memorial, going back the other way. Number 30 for Judge Memorial, that is Paris Tran. Led the charge in the fast break. It doesn't look like she made that one, so the ball still remains in Judge Memorial's possession as Renteria is going to inbound. Looks like they're running a drawn-up play on the inbound here. Looks like we're not quite ready to go. Referees are a little bit upset that the stadium music hasn't quite stopped playing, but they finally managed to turn that off. I've never seen someone be so against Seven Nation Army playing.
I was trying to figure out what they were doing, but yeah, you can't have music on while the game's going.
All right, rebound to Anajoc. Anajoc tries a reverse layup, doesn't quite make it. But the ball is still staying in Judge Memorial's hands on this one. There's a minute 29 left to go in this one. Another drawn-up play. Renteria tries to find Anajoc once again. Tries to find Deng, actually, this time. And doesn't quite find it. There is a foul on Judge Memorial. That was called on number 2, so it's Carbon ball as they're taking it back up court. Looks like it's Molly Banks taking it up court, and three-pointer by Carbon attempted, no good. Back out to Banks. Banks takes it long 2, no good. Rebound by Hillam, not quite corralled, but it's going to stay Carbon ball as it's deflected off Judge. That three-pointer earlier was attempted by Gracie Vasquez. Inbound out to Vasquez. Vasquez trying to break the defense here. She's going to pass out to Richards. Richards out to Banks. Banks trying to cut through the defense. Layup, no good. Rebound back to Banks. Vasquez at the top of the key. She's going to pass into Prescott. Prescott trying to get around the defense. No good. Rebound, Judgment Memorial. Renteria passes over to Paris Tran. Tran trying to get around the defense. Ooh. Manages to shake off Vasquez on a crossover, but no good on the layup.
Oh, my.
And Prescott, I guess her shoes gave out a little bit there. She showcased a bit of involuntary flexibility, trying to pass the ball away.
Prescott, she's an athlete. She's the reigning 3A high jumper. So that was pretty impressive, though. I didn't know she could do the splits.
Well, if anything, that was some style points as we're heading to the last few seconds here. So Judge Memorial is going to win this one and head to the semifinals. Final score 57-33. Carbon's going to go ahead, and the season's not quite over yet for the Dinos. They'll drop into the consolation bracket, trying to play their way to the 5th place, 6th place game tomorrow. Not a bad game for Carbon considering the opponent.
No, I mean, this Bulldog team, they're talented from top to bottom. Sidbury's an incredible athlete, and then she's got great pieces around her, and Collins, and the rest of them are so long as well. So it just makes it really tough to bring the ball up the court and have an offensive possession. So good effort by the Dinos, but Judge proved they're the better team, and we'll move on to the semifinals tomorrow.
I think at the beginning of this game, we were both probably expecting that this was going to be a very Taya Sidbury takeover kind of game, and it really was anything but. A lot of this game was really happening regardless of whether Sidbury was making shots or not. Judge Memorial, just from 1 to 5, was dominating at every point of the floor.
Yeah, there's little question about that, how dominant the Judge Memorial Bulldogs